guys, welcome to Travel with Joy. My name's Joy and I am a flight attendant and a Navy reservist. And on this show, we're basically going to be meeting people that have traveled with me, meeting travel experts, just travelers that have a story. And today I have my first guest. I have my sister Charity, my travel companion. Charity, welcome to Travel with Joy.
Yes.
Charity is my first guest, and when I was starting this whole podcast, I knew you would be the first person I would want on my show. And besides you being my sister, best friend, my day one, all of that, she's also my travel companion. One of the best things about working for a major airline as a flight attendant is you get flight benefits. And one of the things with flight benefits is you could have travel companions, and Charity is my travel companion. So she's been traveling with me for the past 8 years.
Wow.
I know. It's
wow.
Time flies when you're having fun,
it
right?
It doesn't seem that long, but yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the things I like to tell people is that you can travel standby anywhere in the world for little to no cost.
Yep.
So, let's just jump right into it.
Let's get it.
Yep. So what would you say is your most memorable travel experience with me?
Gosh, I'd probably say our first trip, because was that Mexico?
Yes.
Mexico. So I think just like thinking back to our first trip and how much we've evolved as travelers.
Yes.
Especially me.
That was both of our first times in Mexico.
Was that? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I just remember, right, you being pretty rigid and like, we have to look a certain way. We have to come like real business formal, like clean shoes, button up. And now it's like, hey, we just show up 30 minutes before the flight and like, let's get on and let's go. So,
but let me clarify that a little for my listeners. So I didn't even get on a plane for the first time until I was like 27. But there are some like travel enthusiasts that will talk about how you used to have to wear like business, like a tie, the women, like you would dress to the nines. So like people would tell me, oh, you try to list standby, then you try to get on a flight, and if you have like a sweatsuit on, that gate agent will not let you on. So I was paranoid. So I was telling Charity, I was like, no joggers, no sweats. I was like, you gotta, dress it up a little.
So we had my best friend with me, right?
Yes.
And I vividly remember, because I think she might have been wearing like all black and like just black leggings, like just black random shoes. And I remember you getting so mad at her because you were like, what is she wearing? They're supposed to be dressed up right now. And it was so awkward, but it was so funny.
No, and then
I was like, I tried to tell her, Joy.
Oh my God. And then now you see people. So basically what our dress code is you can basically wear anything as long as you don't have like holes or anything like gang related, anything. Yeah, no profanity, but they're pretty chill.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff you see, I'm like, but
yeah, I'm now like sweats and hoodies and just sneakers.
Yeah, comfortable. Comfortable. Yeah, so it's like that. Yeah, no, that was an incredible trip. And one thing I remember about that trip too is like we're pretty frugal travelers.
I am for sure.
Yeah, so I think you're a little worse than me.
Yes,
but I remember you found like this all-inclusive resort off of Groupon.
Sandos.
Yes, and it was like I loved it.
It was beautiful.
My only gripe though.
Okay.
I don't want to be at no all inclusive with no kids. I don't want no like if I'm trying to have a little alcoholic beverage. I don't want some like little rugrat, So that's the only thing I would say. I would say that that trip was amazing.
Yeah.
But I would probably do an adult only.
All right, I got
all
you.
inclusive.
I got you. I'll work on that. I'll work on that.
But I love a deal.
Yeah.
I love a deal.
Groupon Sandos Resort.
Exactly. The plug. Maybe I can get like a deal out of it or something.
Hey.
Like Groupon, hit me up. And then how do you think you being my travel companion has like strengthened our bond?
Gosh, well, I think the time we get to spend away from like all the chaos and like hustle of our jobs or lives, family, just being able to sit on a plane together for hours or or sit in
Yes.
the airport for hours or overnight. The hotel, the excursions, like seeing things for the first time and being able to do that with you and like talk through these things and like debrief the trips. I think that's definitely strengthened our bond and like made us closer because now we have all these shared memories together.
For sure, for sure. That
Yeah.
that's so true. Like even now, sometimes when I'm a flight attendant, I'll send her like little videos, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Wish you were here," or like, "I
Yeah.
know, like bookmark this for our next
Yep.
trip." Like I know that I think you would really, really like this.
Yeah. I love that.
Now, what do you think goes into creating like a really dope itinerary?
Gosh, you kind of got to know who you are. So like I'm not a swimmer, so that's what I mean by knowing who you are. Where snorkeling, I'm not the one to go with it. That's what the plan. So I think just like knowing who you are, knowing what you like, but also being willing and free to try new things and not be like afraid. So I think a little bit of bravery goes into that.
For sure.
You've pushed me out of my limits a lot, out of my comfort zone. So I think who you're traveling with also makes a difference too.
I think one thing that I really like about when you build an itinerary is I feel like you're really good about balance.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, like, I go so hard on a trip that
Yeah.
I need a vacation from the vacation. And when I get home, I'm like, I need like 2 days to like recover.
Yeah.
But I think with you, you're like, let's have like excursion every other day.
Hmm.
Let's sleep in. You're like, we're gonna be by the center square. We're like walking distance
Yeah.
to like a lot of things. So I think that's kind of one thing that I've noticed kind of works with us. Like I'm responsible for like getting us there, and
Yeah.
then you're responsible for like setting up the
Yeah. I'm
itinerary. And
usually the first day we get there, I got my laptop in bed and kind
yes,
of like, all right, what things can we do here?
exactly.
And yeah, then I think, yeah, just spacing it out too. So like, unfortunately, I don't have the luxury, like, I return back to work on Monday
Yep.
always, typically. So it's like, I do like to get that balance of having some time to relax and breathe and slow down a little bit on those vacations. So,
Yeah, I think also with you, you kind of look at our trips a little different. I think for you, it's more like recovery,
yeah.
refreshing, like, and then with me, I think since I travel so much,
Yeah.
like I'm used to 24-hour layovers, 16-hour
Go, go.
layovers. So you're like, go, 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 go,
What
go.
can I get
And
in
then,
within that 24
yeah, and
hours?
then you're like, but it's like you can always come back.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, I need to chill. And I usually don't rest until I get like sick. And then I'm like, man, so
Should have slowed down, Joy.
exactly, exactly. Now, how do you think our travel experiences have influenced our personal growth?
Gosh, I think about my first time out of the country, right? And that was when I was a college athlete. Every 4 years of my college, we would do an international trip. So that just happened to be my freshman year in college. All expense paid trip to Costa Rica. And here I am, trying to find ways to get out of it. Like, I think coach gave us a checklist of things we were supposed to do. Like, I didn't have a passport, so I was supposed to get a photo taken. And I'm just like kind of super ungrateful, kind of like not doing my checklist. So I remember her calling me. My head coach called me, kind of like, "Hey, Cherry, what's up? Like, what are you doing?" And I just remember being like, you know, you don't have to worry about it. Like, I'll just stay in Lincoln, Nebraska, and not go to Costa Rica with the basketball team. And I remember her being like, "Excuse you."
Yeah, you picking Nebraska
Yeah,
over Costa
like,
Rica?
you're my point guard. You are
Yeah.
going on this trip.
Yeah.
So now just thinking like 8 years later, it's like I want to jump at every opportunity I can get to see the world. Like what a privilege and a luxury to be able to like hop on a plane, experience a new culture. So like I just think for me like the growth that I've had on just like understanding how rare and like how you have to appreciate these things because not everyone has it, and then also like you never know what tomorrow brings. So
That's so
yeah,
true. I think for me, I just yeah, just like what you said about just like feeling so much
yeah,
gratitude. Like we grew up with a single mom,
absolutely.
like survival, like we didn't have the luxury of going on family
No,
vacations.
we weren't doing that.
When sometimes I'm on a plane and I'll see like a family of six
Yeah.
in first class. And you have like little kids that are like 6 years old and they're like, yeah, I've been to 60 countries. And I'm just like, wow. So yeah, sometimes I still am kind of like, wow, like
Yeah.
it's very like it's not lost on me
Yeah.
that we're able to travel like this.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, how do you approach like where you go?
Well, being that I fly standby a lot, we approach it with wherever has seats open. So obviously we always have a destination in mind, but I also have to be very like comfortable knowing that like this may go one way or the
Hmm.
other way.
Hmm.
So obviously like my mind, I have all these places I want to travel and visit. And we've been fortunate that we've made it to many of our destinations.
Hmm.
But I know like, I think my next bucket list item, Joy, is Brazil. So
Okay, okay.
I'm
See,
trying to go to
yeah.
Brazil.
So let me kind of break it down when we talk about standby flying. So what it basically means is that if there's an open seat on the plane, we can get on it. But it has to go by seniority. So I've only been working at my airline for 8 years. I actually just hit 8 years on the 15th. But there are some people that have been flying for like 40 years, 50
Yeah.
years. So, and then also, you have some people that have, their wife, their 10 kids. So like Brazil, that's one of those countries that might be kind of hard just because that's a popular
Yeah.
destination. Or Florida, Florida is, a popular destination. And then also, if you're trying to fly during like high times, like spring break,
Mm.
or, like if everybody's trying to go to a city for All-Star Weekend, like you got to get creative. And we're kind of limited because we fly a lot like during spring break.
Yeah.
So that kind of like if you
Spring break or summertime.
yes, yes. But those are like when people are traveling a
Yeah.
lot. So that's why it can get kind of. So I usually try to tell Chair, I'm like, give me like a top three
Yeah.
and I'll monitor those flights and I'll see like what's a likelihood of me being able to get two seats with my
Yeah.
seniority. And some of them I'm just like,
It's not going to happen.
yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Or we just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Cause I'm just like I have always wanted to go to like Cape Town,
Mhm.
but that's probably not a place we could go during spring break just because we would probably need like 10 days.
And being your companion, I appreciate your flexibility with understanding that like my job does dictate so much of like when I can travel. So props to you for not letting me
Always.
go.
No, no, no. I wish you had more flexibility,
Me
but I
too.
know it's like, you got to save the world. You got to help them kids. No, what role do you think that travel plays in having like empathy and just understanding other cultures?
I think it shaped me so much. Like, I've seen so many different parts of the world in a sense, is like spending time in Nigeria, versus spending time in Iceland
Hmm.
or Costa Rica versus, Mexico or Thailand. But each place is so beautiful, and there's such a strong sense of pride in each of these countries that we've been to. And I think that's what like I love the most is just the sense of pride that you see in the people that walk the streets that are hustling to get to wherever they need to be. It's really allowed me just to see like how diverse the world is, and just how beautiful it is also.
For sure, for sure. Now, how do you feel when you return home? Do you feel like a post trip like slump or just like refreshed, ready to go
I'll be
or
ready to go.
yeah. Yeah.
No, I usually feel very just like grateful, energized, refreshed, and just like hungry. Like,
Hmm.
because sometimes you go these places and you meet the locals and you talk to people, and it just makes you want to like get back. Like, I get back to my life and I'm just like, look at all this that I have in front of me.
Hmm.
Like, look at everything I have in front of me, and like, let's take advantage of it. Let's go.
Hmm.
So I also have like a sense of like eagerness sometimes when I get back to like do more, go harder, be more grateful, spend time with people you love,
Yep.
all of that. It's such a weird combination of so many different feelings sometimes.
That's dope. That's dope. Now, if you could only visit one country for the rest of your life, which country would it be and why?
Dang. One?
One, only one.
What would you do? I'm curious because
Throw it
you've seen
back.
so many places.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
You know what? I would have to say Italy.
Italy, okay.
Yeah,
And why?
the reason I would say Italy is because I've been to like Naples,
Mm-hmm.
Rome,
Okay.
Venice, Milan, and like if you go to northern Italy, it's different from southern
Okay.
Italy. I feel like you could get like, if you go up north, you can get like mountains. If you go south, you can get like beaches. The food is amazing.
Yeah.
I feel very safe when I'm in Italy. I love the culture. I
Okay.
feel like they have art, they have history.
Yeah.
I feel like they have luxury, they have hostels.
Yeah.
So, and every time I go to Italy, I just feel like I'm learning more. And the men, let me stop. But let me stop. But yeah,
Don't stop. Go ahead.
I definitely got to go to
Where are we
Italy.
taking this?
Italy, yeah, for
Italy?
sure.
Okay. I've been to Italy. Okay. We didn't go on that trip together,
No,
but I've been to Italy, so
yeah, you feel it.
gosh, that's such a good question. Part of me feels like Nigeria. Like there is something just beautiful about getting off that plane and just feeling comfortable, you know?
Like feeling like you're home.
Yeah.
We're Nigerian, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So getting off that plane and feeling like I'm home, you know? I don't speak the native language, but like hearing it from everyone, seeing everyone that looks like you,
Yeah.
the attire, like all of it. So that was just the food.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There is just something really, really beautiful about being in Nigeria. If I could pick a second one, I would probably maybe go with Thailand.
Oh wow.
There is just something. We were in Bangkok, right?
Yep.
The whole trip, 4 or 5 days in Bangkok.
Yep.
But there is just something really like wholesome and beautiful with like the temples, the spirituality. I felt really at peace there. So Thailand might be my second.
Yeah, I feel like we got to go to Thailand and we need to explore other cities.
Okay.
Because there's just so much. It's just hard because it's like such a long trip to get
Yeah,
out there.
it is.
Yeah, but no. Okay, so mine's Italy and yours is Nigeria or Thailand.
Thailand.
That's dope. Now, what piece of advice would you give somebody who just says, like I can't travel, I have too much fear, I have too much anxiety, or I just don't have the money. Like y'all privileged. That's like that's not me.
Like I would never want anyone to go broke trying to travel, right?
Yeah.
So live within your means. But I think it like the beautiful thing about traveling, and even for me, like I can cut back on some things every month and use that to save. So like, I'm not starting from ground zero just trying to charge something on my card. Like I try to be really responsible about like if I know we're going on this trip in March, I'm going to start saving maybe 50 from every paycheck or 75 from every paycheck, so that I can have the luxury of like going on an excursion when we go somewhere. But I would just tell people just like to plan, right? Put it on the calendar and plan for it. And if you're having fears or anxiety, find a close friend or a buddy, someone you trust, someone you know that, that's going to walk side by side with you when you go. But there's nothing more beautiful than seeing the world because you really don't realize how big it is until you start traveling. So
That's so true. Also, with that, I feel like people don't realize that you don't have to jump off of the porch and go to like South Africa.
yeah,
You can be a tourist in your own city.
yeah, absolutely. That's true.
And you can kind of just like get out of your comfort zone. And then maybe you do a road trip 3.5 hours away and you go to Kansas City.
That's true.
And then maybe then just like you said, you get a friend and you go with a friend.
Yeah.
And
Start
and-
small.
Exactly. And then another thing too is like, we just talked to somebody who just got a plane ticket to Cancun for $360.
Yeah.
You tell me that you can't save $360 if you really want. Like people, it's priorities too.
Yeah. And I think that's really good advice about like starting small because like before you start flying, and I was able to be your companion, like that's a huge privilege of being that. But like, me and my friends, we were going to Hastings for a weekend and we would make the best out of it.
We had so much fun.
Or we'd go to Kansas City to
Yep.
visit a friend and we'd make the best out of it. So I agree with you, like starting small and figuring out who you are and like what sort of things could help lower your anxiety when you're traveling. And I think you can kind of figure that out and starting small.
Yep. I know when I first started flying on flight benefits, I had a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Just about like, am I going to get on?
Yeah.
I'm watching all these flights. It's like sometimes you think you want to go to a certain place and
Yeah.
then like there's 2 seats and then a family of 6 will jump in front of you and you're like, ah. But I think you really helped me with just being like, what other country, you like, where else
Yeah.
can we go?
Yeah.
Like we'll go there next time. Like it's no big deal. And I think even before we kind of talked and we were like, okay, we need to make sure that we book our accommodations when we're on the plane so we don't lose out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that because I'm such like a control freak that really helped me just like just like chill, Joy.
Yeah.
And then also another thing too is like you also got to keep your P's and Q's about just like safety and just
Absolutely.
different things like that. And you can do things beforehand. You can research the country.
Yeah.
You can just, if you have a 5-carat ring, you probably don't
leave
want to
that at
wear
home.
it. Yeah, leave that at home. There's just so many things that
Yeah.
like you'll just get better at once you start
Yeah.
moving around and you kind of keep your head on a swivel. Now, can you share a heartfelt connection you made with a local during one of our trips?
Yeah. I think back to when we went to Alabama. So Alabama, we spent 3-4 days there, and we visited multiple
Yep.
places. And it was when we were in Selma.
Yep.
We met a man that was he 94?
Yes.
94?
Yeah.
94 years old, and he had first-hand experience the Bloody Sunday.
Yep.
And he had like his little poster board, and he
Yeah.
sits out by the bridge, and he just meets with tourists and talks to them about his first-hand experiences. And he had a scar, because I want to say he said like a rock was thrown and it hit him.
Yep. Actually, I think he said that an officer
Was it an officer?
hit him
Okay.
with the butt of his
Okay.
like the buttstock of his
Yeah.
like rifle or shotgun or something.
Okay, yeah. So, gosh, like being able, like you read about this stuff in school, and I've seen the movie,
Yeah.
but never in my life did I imagine I would actually talk to someone that had firsthand experience
Yeah.
that lived through that. So, I think to me, with all the trips we've gone to and done, that was really just something. Even now, just talking about it, I get like kind of choked up,
Yeah,
emotional about
yeah.
it, because to me, that's just something that I'll never forget.
That was so powerful, and it's so crazy because I'm based in Atlanta. So one of the first things we did when I got based in Atlanta is you came down and we went to Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthplace, and I ran into Senator John Lewis, just in the Atlanta airport, and then this gentleman is telling me about how he grew up with a boy from Troy and how MLK Jr. was one of his closest friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow. And then also just to experience that and
Yeah.
to see how far we've come.
Yeah.
And that was so powerful. That's so powerful. I was actually going to say for me, I mean, I think you might have like I should have picked that one, but when I was thinking, when we went to Cape Calker in Belize, and it's just like this small town, and they don't even really have like cars; they have like go-karts. And there was this woman. Shout out to Lisa, and
Lisa.
she was the only female driver.
Yeah.
And she basically said that like a lot of the men, they don't want you like taking away their business, so they intimidate you and they basically like run you out of it.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Ain't no man gonna run me out." Like she was like really like, and she was like, and then we wanted to support her.
Yeah.
And I even remember like she brought us, she was like, yeah, because a lot of them do that, like, oh, we have these souvenirs that we make every day, and we're in our home, and you're
She was
just
saying
like,
her son
yeah,
was
and
using it for money, I think for tuition or something.
I'm like, lady, if you I'm pretty sure you got this in China, but like, but we bought some, and
Yeah.
we wanted to support her, and we
Absolutely.
were just like, and we used her every single day,
Yeah.
because we really were like, you have a dope story, and then we were going to Belize City. And she straight up told us, she was like, it's not safe if you go.
Yeah.
Here's a point of contact. If you go on a tour, like she started taking care of us, and she
Yeah.
was telling us, she was like, if you guys ever go anywhere, I'll make sure you guys are safe. I'll put you in touch with the right people. Just like super dope. And I
Yeah.
know that if I go back, like
Yeah.
yeah, like I just think she was like a real one. She was really cool.
Yeah. I like that.
Now, what motivates you to continue to explore and go to new places?
Curiosity, I think. Definitely curiosity and just this eagerness just to see the world. The little bit of traveling that I've been able to do, been fortunate to do, you just see how different places are, and just how unique, how beautiful places are. So I think just that curiosity of like, I just want to see the world and continue exploring, and Lincoln can be so the same, I guess.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of get into a cycle, where you see the same people, you do the same things, you see the same people, but there's just something really that has sparked my interest about like the world and just like all the unknown, the architecture, the food, the culture, just the roads, the way people dress. There's just so much that I'm curious about. And it's been really cool just to kind of help me grow as a person and just see what's out there in this world.
You really helped me with that, because I think sometimes just being a flight attendant and being a Navy reservist and traveling for a living, sometimes I get so burnt out.
Yeah.
And like, if I have vacation, I don't even want to go anywhere. I just want to like be home and still. And then you'll hit me up and you're like, Joy, let's go here. Let's go
Yeah.
here. And then you kind of like, I start to rub off of you, and I'm like, I need to go. I need to go. But yeah. Is there a destination that you're like looking forward to, or like what's next on your bucket list?
Yeah, I think for me, like I think I said earlier, like I'd love to go to Brazil. I also like what we did in Alabama was really cool because we went to Birmingham,
Yep.
we went to Montgomery,
Yep.
Selma,
Mobile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we hit up 4 different, and it was just fun because like we just kind of flew out there, then we rented a car, and we would load everything in our car, drive to the next place,
Yep.
find a hotel there, throw our stuff in there, explore for the whole day,
Yep.
and then it was like we were out the next day to the
Yep.
next place. So what we did out there was really unique and just a fun, different kind of experience for us. So it'd be cool to do some more stuff like that, where we just go somewhere for a weekend and road trip around a little bit.
Yeah. And I personally think that we should do all 50 states like that. And I've been like telling her, I'm like, yo, we could go to Alaska. We
Yeah.
could hit up like national parks. We
Yeah.
could, we could go to Iowa. You know what I'm saying? We could go to Iowa. We
Yeah,
could,
let's
just-
go.
Yeah, I just feel like there's something to be seen
That's true.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and people forget
Yeah.
like
We've been to Iowa.
yeah, but I'm saying like a road trip, like
Okay.
hit up, Des Moines,
Ames.
yeah, Ames. I don't know where else, but like we could figure it out. We could, if y'all know
Yeah.
of anything, like slide in my DMs, like drop a comment, like let us know what's popping in Iowa.
Look, stop. We can't even because we live in Lincoln. So
I know.
why are we trying?
People gonna be like, you got a lot of nerve,
Right? We gonna go to Iowa, okay?
Yeah. Now, how do you think our travel styles complement each other?
Compliment each other.
Yeah.
So many ways. So I think back to when we were supposed to go to Croatia, right?
Yeah.
So, or no, Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah.
And it was supposed to be like 80 degrees. You were looking at the flights and you're like, it's raining the whole time.
Yeah.
So like we were like, it wasn't a big deal. Like, cool. Like, why don't we just find another place it's going to be 80 degrees that we could try to get to? So then it was supposed to be Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Couldn't get on those flights.
No.
So
No,
then we ended up
packed.
in
Aruba.
Aruba.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aruba. So like, that's kind of me where it's like, like I'm like let's like I feel blessed. So
Yep.
wherever we can go, I'm cool with
Mm-hmm.
going. And then I think too, like when we get to these locations, I'm very much so like let's just get on my laptop, see what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we balance each other where I'm kind of I feel like I'm more like free flow,
Mm-hmm.
like let's just see what's out there. You can kind of be more of a like you want things to go so well that you put a lot of
Yes.
stress on yourself and
Yes.
anxiety can start to build.
Mm-hmm.
But then I hope that like I calm you and I'm like,
Oh,
hey,
for
it's all
sure.
good, Joy. Like
For
if we
sure.
don't go to Portugal, like we're in Aruba. I'm
Yeah.
blessed.
And I'm like, but I made like a 3-day itinerary and I was on
Yeah.
TikTok for 8 hours and and you're
Yeah.
like, we'll go there next time.
But then on the flip side too, like I'm very scared. So like when we do travel, I'm very scared where like you also help me grow and like pull me to be like, yeah, like let's go down to this spot and let's go kick it with the locals and I can be like, I'm not sure, Joy. I don't know if this is the safest. So I think it's that nice little balance of like, you help me get out of my shell when we travel,
Hmm.
but then I also hopefully calm you down and I'm like, hey, things are going to be a little crazy, but we all right.
Yeah.
We could find this hotel for Aruba on the plane, you know?
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. No, you've definitely helped me a lot with all of that. Can you share a travel mishap and how you turned it around?
Yeah, I think the mishap was definitely that Portugal trip
Yeah.
where we had everything planned, packed for
Yes.
Portugal. And then we like looked at the weather and it was like, ooh, do we want to spend 4 or 5 days and it's going to rain the whole time? And we were like, no. So then thankfully you are you and you understand this whole fly stuff
Hmm.
because I wouldn't have known what to do really. But then it was like, all right, let's look at Puerto Rico because the weather's supposed to be 80, nice,
Hmm.
beautiful. You worked your magic, and there was no magic. So,
I
so then,
tried.
so then, what you did is like you hopped on to the next destination, and that Aruba trip was amazing.
Hmm.
Like I loved it, but it was like I remember we're probably 20 minutes to land, and I'm like finally booking the hotel on the
Yeah.
plane.
Yep. We gotta love that Wi-Fi.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So I would say that was probably the like maybe one of the more stressful times, but it all worked out.
I know I have an embarrassing story. God. So when I first joined the military,
Okay.
I everybody kept telling me to get a passport.
Mm.
And at the time I was like, how much is a passport? Oh no, no, no. Like I can't no, no, I'm not doing that. And people were telling me that I could get into countries with just my military ID
Hmm.
because there's like a SOFA agreement with countries and if there's a base in a country, then you can get there with just your ID. So I'm like booking a trip, like a work trip to go to Thailand.
Yeah.
And this is like, God, this is back in like 2011 or 2012. And I even remember like hitting up my chief and I'm like, do I have to have a passport? You're telling me to get a passport. My mom is telling me to get a passport. He's like, nah, just show your military ID. I fly from Omaha all the way to Thailand and I flashed them my military ID and they're like, you can't come in the country. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then I popped up my orders and they were like, no. And I was like, but aren't there bases here? And they're like, no. And I'm like, wow. So I'm like hitting at my chief and he's like, oh, I guess we don't have a base there. Uh, Call the commander. And I was like, oh my God. I was so embarrassed. But then finally I called the commander and he's like, well, do you want to come back home or do you want to go to Japan? And I was like, I'll go to Japan. So I ended up in Japan for a month, but
Man.
that was so embarrassing. And they had me like I'm saying the story like quick, but they had me in this like holding cell for like 2 hours when they were trying to wait for like my next flight.
Yeah.
And I was with some like sketchy people and I was so exhausted, but I was so scared to
Yeah.
sleep. And I was just like, how did I end up here?
That's the L right there.
Yeah, it was definitely a major L. Now, how do you envision our travels evolving? Like just, with time.
Yeah, I think being able to get family involved potentially, like
Hmm.
I would love to have like a sister's trip, you know, as some of us are having kids, like bringing kids along on some of these
Yeah.
trips, whether it's international, whether it's stateside. But hopefully maybe just getting family involved in some of these things that we do.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Do you think about like a tradition that we could create where we could like do it every trip?
That's a good one. What you got in mind?
See, I don't know. I was thinking like it would be dope if we like did like the same picture
Okay.
and everyone like and then we could kind of edit it together.
Okay.
Or if we did like the seven wonders of the world,
Okay.
or if we did like all 50 states and we
Yeah.
kind of did the same where we hit like three big cities.
Okay.
I think that would be kind of dope.
I like the picture one. That could be pretty cool with
Yeah.
some cool backgrounds and stuff in it.
Yeah.
I like that.
So is there anything that you want people to know, just like in closing, about just, like a message you really want to make sure that they get from this whole podcast and your
Well-
experience traveling with Joy?
Yeah. I'm blessed to. Okay, two things. One, you have a second companion slot open. Is that true?
That is true. That is
Look at
true.
me.
Yeah.
So, someone go take that second companion spot, right?
So we can have three
Yeah,
of us
look at
together?
me sharing details
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
And I like a huge thank you, because like I think back to when I was in college as a freshman, like me trying to tell my coach, like, nah, y'all go to Costa Rica without me. I don't care to see Costa Rica. I don't care to like not be in Lincoln, and how much I've evolved as a person, just like how much I appreciate everything. I think you've definitely helped me grow in that sense of what you've been able to expose me to and let me see. And then for other people that are interested in traveling, do it. Do it. I've been fortunate to travel with you, with my other sister, with some close friends. Let people know what you want to do and then see what comes about it, and don't be afraid to like really try to explore that.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us today. You guys have a good day and travel with joy.